Powered by Arkansas, for Arkansas. This is Inside Arkansas Live.
Hey, welcome into Inside Arkansas Live here on this beautiful day here in the great state of Arkansas. I'm your host, John Neighbors, alongside Curtis Wilkerson and Andrew Ellis, and appreciate each and every one of you for making us a part of your afternoon this afternoon, as we're going to have a fun-filled show for you here on this Tuesday. We're going to talk about who our heavy hitters are in the world of sports, presented by HD Roofing and Construction. We'll also get into the latest when it comes to Razorback football, the Razorback football coaching search, some Razorback basketball as well, and your chats too, and get into all of that as best as we can and making it have some fun, especially when it comes to coaching searches and whatnot. But fellas, it's Tuesday, so how are the vibes here on this Tuesday afternoon?
Pretty good. Feeling good, man. It's a nice day outside. It's SEC Media Day for basketball, which not as excited about it as I usually am, and that's part of the reason why we're not there. It's just not what it once was. But looking forward to hearing what John Calipari has to say. Looking maybe more forward to seeing what, if anything, the other coaches or players in the league have to say about Arkansas and to say about Cal. So kind of have one eye on that as we go throughout the course of the day. Literally, as this show ends, is when Calipari takes the stage to do his press conference up there. Perfect timing. I feel like they did that for us because they all rock with Inside Arkansas Live.
Yeah, I like that. Hoping we get some good stuff out of SEC Media Days, but also just happy to be here. Happy to be talking ball with the boys on another beautiful Tuesday. This week is already going by pretty slow, but we will power through.
Hey, that's right, because you have a top 5 team coming to town this weekend with Texas A&M, and I know we talked a little bit about Bobby Petrino previewing that, and I want to ask you guys, because again, we'll have time to talk about the game itself. Are we all in agreement and glad that this game is back to home and home and not in Arlington anymore? Are we happy for this?
I hate it. No, I'm just kidding, man. I love it. I'm very happy. I was going to try to do the devil's advocate thing, but I just can't do it on this one, man. Of course I'm happy that it's back to the campuses, and I would still feel that way even if they were going to College Station this year. I just think it's better. I think, I understand that, like Oklahoma and Texas have their thing, and then the cocktail party and all that. I just think if you are playing conference football games, they need to be on campuses. It's just a pet peeve of mine. I don't like it when it's otherwise. You want to play a non-conference game at some neutral site somewhere? Cool. Arkansas wants to play at Jerry World to keep Jerry Jones happy? Cool. Don't do it with an SEC team. Don't do it with Texas A&M. I'm looking forward to this being in Fayetteville. And because of that, even given the circumstances with the team, I kind of have the feeling it might be a fairly charged up atmosphere because people have been waiting for this to happen for so long. So I think it's a good thing. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I imagine it will be a pretty good crowd. I'm also very much in favor of this going back to home and homes. And I will say, I had a lot of great times in Jerry World. I had some great times watching those games. I'm glad they did it, both back when they first started doing it when A&M was still in the Big 12. And I'm glad that they kept it going for a while. It was a cool thing. But I feel like it had run its course, and it kind of lost its luster a little bit. So, honestly, I feel like the timing was right for them to return this back to home and home. This weekend is going to be revenge for 2020. When COVID somehow moved the game to College Station.
That's right. Can't forget that. Yeah, somehow COVID did it. No, because I'm with you, and it's amazing that how long this was and how long it kept going, and also how many games Arkansas lost in Arlington. It was pretty incredible. And not even just losing it in the way they lost it, because every single time it was a close game. And I was also thinking about, too, that since the Southwest Classic started, I know A&M didn't join the conference until later, but it's funny thinking back. The only times that this game was not in Jerry World were on 3 different occasions. And in that stretch, Arkansas had some of their worst teams that they had. And also A&M had a really good team. You think about it, in 2012 and 2013, Arkansas went to A&M. Johnny Manziel had his coming out party and put on a show. I think they scored 58 points. And then in Fayetteville the next year, Dietrich Wise had his dance, but it wasn't enough, as Arkansas still lost that game. But those years they went 4-8 and then 3-9. And then the next time is, like Andrew just brought up, 2020 went down to A&M. And I know that Arkansas maybe was better than what people anticipated, but still not. It was a bad situation, bad stance on it. And then here we are again, not being in Arlington, and the Arkansas situation still dicey and not very good. So, but A&M, man, they're really good. I was just looking at their stats, and I got to talk to David Nuno of Texags. He'll be joining us tomorrow, as we'll be live from Blue Ember there in Rogers for Inside Arkansas Live. But it's just like, I hate it. I don't want A&M to be good. And I know that just the matchup itself, I started looking, I was like, I don't feel very good about this one for Arkansas, guys. I just don't think they match. I mean, Arkansas may not match up well with anybody, but A&M, even with the Le'Veon Moss thing situation, I still just don't like Arkansas's chances in this one. I'm going to be honest with you.
Yeah, and they also have a stable of running backs back there that they can turn to. Marcel Reed is dynamic. He's improved as a passer, but he's, in a way he's like Talon. He's not as good as Talon, but with the playmaking that he brings, but they've got a couple wide receivers that are really, really good that they got out of the transfer portal. And we know that Arkansas's secondary is really, really not good. So I do worry about this game, man. And I think the thing that gives me a little bit of hope is, Texas A&M always kind of does the thing where early in the season, you're looking at them, you're going, oh boy, is this the year they finally break through? And then it winds up being Texas 8-4 again. We talked about it yesterday, and I think I'm with Andrew on this is not peak Jimbo Fisher. It's not peak whoever was, there before him. Mike Elko, I think, is a pretty good coach. And if anybody was going to get this thing rolling for him, it might be him. So is this the year where they really break through, or can Arkansas be the team that brings them back to their typical reality? I don't know, man, but I'm looking forward to it. And yeah, I one thing you were talking about, just the past games that these have been on campuses over the last years or whatever. And I think back to that COVID year. Remember they went to College Station? It was like, oh yeah, you got to have social distancing and you can only have like 12,000 people in the stands or whatever. That place was packed, bro. Like, I'll never forget how many people were in there. And I just remember I might have even written a story about it, but people were so pissed off because they were like, they're breaking the rules in College Station. This is unfair. They didn't need the piped in crowd noise that was allowed at the time because they had like a packed house in there. It was nuts.
I think, and I've been as high on A&M as anybody. I really do believe that A&M is like gettable in these next few weeks because I think they're good, but they might not be quite as good as maybe their shiny undefeated record indicates, their shiny little ranking over there indicates. I think Marcel Reed has clearly proven himself as one of the more stable quarterbacks in the conference, but I think there's also some limitations with him as well. Colin Klein has done a great job offensively, calling plays to kind of make everything look good. I also wonder, I'm like, Colin Klein, great young play caller, very well respected. I think there's going to be a team or there's going to be a matchup that maybe puts some resistance that they haven't seen yet. Of course, that Notre Dame defense wasn't really enough to really test them. I think there's some team out there that has the right defense, that has the right scheme, that can really put A&M in trouble. I just don't think Arkansas is that team, specifically on the defensive side of the ball. Could Arkansas move the ball against them? Sure. But I think they're going to have a tough time slowing down this offense. But I do want to clarify. I do think somebody will. I think there's going to be a game where Marcel Reed is 13 for 29 with a pick and maybe doesn't look quite as good. I just don't think Arkansas is the team that's going to make that happen. And so that's kind of going into this matchup. I'm with you guys where I'm like, man, A&M, I believe in them more than other years, but I also simultaneously am kind of like sketched out by them. I just don't think Arkansas is the team to exploit that necessarily.
Well, I was also looking at it too, like last year, because they lost. It was last year, right? When they lost Moss, or was it the year before? I think it was last year when they lost him for an extended period of time. I have to go back and double check. But either way, once they lost him, things changed a lot for them. Like they started losing a lot more games. And I'm not saying this is the same thing ever, but I'm sitting here and I'm looking at this A&M team, and you guys may disagree, but is this the best team left on Arkansas' schedule? Is Texas A&M? Not Texas, not LSU. I mean, could this be the best team that Arkansas plays this season? Texas A&M right now, where it stands.
Yes. I mean, it very well could be. They're undefeated and at the top of the league and the top of the conference there. So, yeah. I mean,
how weird is that?
When it all shakes out at the end, like I still wonder, did Texas figure some things out with that win over Oklahoma? Because we know how talented they are. LSU, we know how talented they are. It's been weird to see what's been going on with them offensively. It's like I still look at some of those teams from the beginning of the year and think, well, when it all shakes out and the dust settles, will they be where they were supposed to be in the pecking order? But yeah, right now I don't know that we could really argue against Texas A&M the rest of the way here.
Yeah, and by the way, Tennessee, who's no longer on Arkansas's remaining schedule, I think they're an interesting comparison too, because like I think A&M is a more well-rounded team than Tennessee. I think Tennessee has the much better offense overall, more dynamic probably, but I think A&M's a little bit more well-rounded, definitely better defensively than Tennessee. LSU, I feel like, is the only team I'm really like hesitant here. And I'm with you. I haven't loved what they've seen. I feel like by the time Arkansas plays LSU will probably have figured some things out and will be able to win that game at home. So it being on the road probably makes that a tougher overall game. But I think there's a very I can accept that argument, and I might even agree with it that A&M is the best team left on the schedule.
It's just weird to say that because that's what I start thinking about. I'm like, man, I remember being at SEC Football Media Days there in Atlanta this past summer, and no one talked about A&M. And I don't mean that in like a disrespectful way. It was just like people talked about the bad teams, like, oh, Mark Stoops is on the hot seat, Sam Pittman's on the hot seat. And then they, of course, talked about Arch Manning in Texas and Georgia and all of that. No one talked about Texas A&M. And it was almost like they're like, oh, yeah, they're fine. Whatever, 7-5, 8-4. But yet here they are, and they got a pretty favorable schedule the rest of the way if they get past Arkansas. So, but I'm still with you guys. A&M finds a way, man. They just find a way to be A&M on occasion, and they've had some good wins, but they've been some close ones too. I mean, they've had some close wins, but that's been a huge difference here for them. But it's gonna be exciting. What's that?
Well, I was just gonna say I agree with Andrew. Somebody's gonna get them, and they play Arkansas this week, and then they go to LSU the next week. That seems like where they might got to me. They got to go play at Missouri. They got South Carolina. Shout out to them for having Samford on their schedule the next to last game of the year. You got November 22nd. You're playing Samford. What are we doing, bro? And then at Texas. But yeah, maybe Arkansas is going to be in a situation where they soften them up a little bit for Brian Kelly and the boys.
Is this a trap game though for A&M?
People are saying it could be. It won't matter though. Like it's just, I just wonder, like, when was the last trap game that actually happened? Like just like for Arkansas,
Memphis.
Was they were just overlooking them for Notre Dame? Yeah.
I mean, that was like an example of a game that was sandwiched in a perfect spot where preseason you kind of looked at it and they did wind up losing, although they lost the Ole Miss game, which maybe threw them off the trap. But yeah, that was a trap game.
Well, I guess I was meaning, like, was there been a time where Arkansas took advantage of a trap game? Like they are the ones that did it.
I'll tell you the one example that comes to my head is 2014 LSU and 2015 LSU, honestly. 2014 LSU, I think both years, they got LSU right after they played Bama.
Yep.
Softened them up a little bit, and then I can't remember who they had after that. But Arkansas was able to take advantage of some of those. But, yeah, there's not a ton of examples of Arkansas rising to the occasion and catching teams napping.
Yeah, well, let's just hope it's this time around. Let's just hope. We'll get to a lot of things here today on the show, folks, but I want to remind you that OZK Insurance is the best in the insurance game because we know that nobody wants to deal with the hassle of shopping around and dealing with all of the different companies and the different places you got to go and talking about what type of insurance is best for you, the most affordable. You don't want to deal with that. That's why we always recommend OZK Insurance because they make it extremely easy for you. They're based right here in Arkansas, and they shop multiple carriers to find the best coverage and the best price for you. Whether it's home, auto, business, you name it, they do it. And they're always about being counted on because you want to count on your insurance company. You want to count on them that if disaster strikes or if anything of these things happen to your home, to your car, to anything, you want to be protected. Well, OZK Insurance is going to make sure you can count on them. And you can get a free online quote at ozkinsurance.com right now, ozkinsurance.com, or you can call 479-715-4200. It's OZK Insurance, protection made simple. And again, so Arkansas, Texas A&M, it's crazy, guys. I jinxed it. I'll take the blame for this. The weather looks bad now on Saturday, and it's so stupid because this week is great and next week is great. But just the one day is that Saturday when Arkansas plays A&M in home. It just sucks.
Yeah, I feel you. A lot of people are wondering if that's going to be like an advantage for Arkansas, and I don't think that it is. I mean, you already fumbled the ball enough, man. The thing's gonna be on the turf like crazy if you're out there with a slick pigskin. But I don't know, man. I'm disappointed too because I was kind of looking forward to all the festivities. I mean, it's the best opportunity left, right? For home, like tailgating and the whole scene and everything and atmosphere.
Not an 11 a.m. game.
So yeah, there we go.
I'm with you in that I don't know if it's necessarily an advantage. I mean, Arkansas ran the ball pretty well last week, and that was encouraging, and that makes me feel better. But, like, why would – I mean, even without Le'Veon Moss, regardless of who's running the ball for A&M, why would Arkansas stop an opponent's run game?
Ruben Owens is good. Yeah, and to me, like, if you struggle with fumbling and missing tackles, then I don't want to play in the rain.
No, that's not. That usually doesn't like have the opposite effect where it's like, you struggle to tackle and hold on to the ball in real life, but then once it rains, it becomes easier. Like it's not one of those things that works that way. So, yeah, I'm a little bummed by it because again, it's if you're going to try to find an excitement level that's still somewhat there for a home game, it would be this one. Because is the Mississippi State game at 2:30 or is it 11 a.m.? I can't remember if I wanted to say it was at 2:30, but either way, you're right. It's not going to be the same. It's just not going to be the same. So, but hopefully the weather holds off for the most part. I still expect a good crowd there. I'm wondering how many A&M fans will make the trip because, they haven't had a game in Fayetteville since 2013. So, and they're undefeated. I can tell you if I was a Razorback fan and my team was undefeated going to College Station, I'd probably go to it. So I bet you we got to find out where the midnight yell is so I can go and crash it like I did when I was a student back in the day. They did it at Harbor High School parking lot last time. Have you guys ever been to one of those, by the way? An Aggie midnight yell thingy?
No, I don't guess I realized that they took that show on the road.
Yes,
we never play them at home. Oh my gosh.
Yes, when I say, guys, I know this was over 10 years ago, but when we found out about it, we went there and we were expecting like 50 people or whatever. It was hundreds. It looked like a block party. It was insane how many people were there and they were doing they had a makeshift stage. I'm like, where'd y'all get a stage? Like, did you just bring it with you? And they do all their stuff. So yeah, and I think people always try to crash it. I'm one of those that try to crash it too. But anyways, yeah, that goes on the road. It's still frustrating and annoying. And if you're one of these places that allow that to happen, you're not a Razorback fan. If you say, hey, sure, use our parking lot. Right. Yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah. I guess that's why they probably go to like a high school. Isn't it like public property? So maybe they can't be told.
If I find out where it's at, I'm going to call the cops.
That's right. Just be like, there's some egregious behavior happening over here. This is just, we don't buy into this thing. So yeah. But yeah, you're going to have that. I'm sure they're going to bring their band. I'm sure they're going to bring their dog. I'm sure they're going to have all the dumb stuff happening with it too. So either way, it'll be a fun time though. It'll hopefully end up being a good game. All right. So also too, I know we'll get to some chats, but do want to give a quick little update for everybody who's just, waiting with bated breath on our coaches vote. And the update is there is no update because the same top 5 is sitting there when it comes to Arkansas's next head coach for all you fan votes. We have well over 2,000 guys. We're crawling almost to 3,000 votes on this already. And as of right now, Bobby Petrino leading the way pretty heavily at 46.5%. Then you have Dan Mullen at 40.5%. Then you have following that John Sumrall at 21.5%. You have James Franklin. Sorry. James Franklin's after that at 25.5. Then John Sumrall 21.5. And then Rhett Lashley. So you have Petrino, Mullen, James Franklin, John Sumrall, Rhett Lashley. I think I said that right. I know it's kind of chaotic, but either way.
We feel, I think we did this last week. We feel pretty confident that one of those 5 will wind up being the Razorback head coach.
Yes, but I reserve the right to change my mind.
Me too. Yeah, like after this weekend, if Auburn and Florida open up or something.
Yes, 1,000% that would change. No, because that's what my thing is like. If it's not one of those 5, would you bet on? If I said it's not going to be one of those 5, would you bet more on it being a disaster or being on a rock star hire that nobody expected?
Disaster.
Me too.
Yeah, probably disaster. But I mean, like, I'm trying to even think. Who would that disaster even be?
Well, I guess Golish wasn't on there anymore, right?
He's the honorable mention right now.
He's the honorable mention.
Yeah, Golish would be the one that, by the way, which I would agree or argue is not a disaster.
Right.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I mean, I keep thinking about John because you every time you bring it up, the Brett Bielema thing, where like like he wasn't even a name on the radar. So I'm like, could there just be some like random sitting like just Matt Campbell that's just like F it, taking the Arkansas job?
Yeah. I mean, there might be because again, it's happened before and I still caution everybody because I had somebody telling me this last night. They're like, well, Sean Calipari, we didn't see, stop, completely different circumstances, completely different things. That ain't happening. It's just not. And, honestly, if there would have been a Brett Bielema type of thing, Andrew, it would have been James Franklin. You know what I'm saying? Like it would have been somebody like that from the Big Ten who's had success. And all of a sudden, like, oh, wow, Arkansas. But, I don't really know. Like, yeah, I guess maybe if Jim Harbaugh decided to get back into college and come be the head coach of Arkansas, I was like, okay, sure. Yeah, why not? Let's do something crazy like that, or Nick Saban. But do you guys want to hear real quick, though, some of the funny ones that actually got an other vote? I always like to do these, too. So surprisingly, though, actually, real quick, Kirk Cignetti is not on the list because he just doesn't need to be, but he has gotten 6 votes. So there's good for that. You got Nick Saban with 5 votes. You still have Joey McGuire. One person voted for Coach O. One person voted for Kendall Briles. One person voted for Bill O'Brien. I think that was probably more to troll you, Andrew. Let's see. Someone said Bill Belichick. Someone said John L. Smith. Someone said James Franklin, but again, so they voted twice for him, I guess. One person said Bill Cosby. Great.
Oh, come on now.
That's come on now. Yeah, but this is a very official poll, people. You got to take it seriously. Okay?
I know we hire coaches who have weird things going on with women, but come on.
Yeah. There's a line here. Yeah. Somebody said Eli Drinkwitz not trolling. Like they made sure they're like, hey, I actually want him. And then someone said Houston Nutt. And then a few votes for Kenny Dillingham on there too. And then someone just said Jonathan Neighbors, which is always great to see. So
I'm surprised there's not more Cignetti because which obviously we all agree that like Cignetti's not taking the Arkansas job. He's going to end up getting one.
Absolutely
I mean, hell, he's already making more money than Arkansas is going to pay their next head coach. But it's funny, like after they beat Oregon the other day, I've seen a few people that are like, what about this Indiana coach, huh? Anybody know about this? What's going on? The Cignetti guy? Like anybody like it's like, yeah, we know about him.
Arkansas couldn't afford him if they wanted. They couldn't afford him. They couldn't afford his buyout. It's just they missed their opportunity there.
Current salary, let alone whatever they'd have to pay him above that current salary.
Yeah, I know we all feel some type of way about Drink, and so I guess I'm not real surprised he didn't get more or hasn't been getting more traction here. But his name is already getting floated around at Penn State.
Yeah,
so, it's kind of crazy.
Well, real quick too, I just saw this get tweeted out by Callum McAndrew. He's a beat reporter for Mizzou. He said Eli Drinkwitz says the report that Kirby Moore interviewed for the Arkansas was a complete lie. Says he has never interviewed. Yep.
No way.
He said it was a complete lie.
So hidden talent full of shit.
Who would have guessed? Who would have guessed?
Bro.
Even if it wasn't a complete lie, like even if there was an interview set up with him, that is a complete nothing burger. Like that's the type of interview you do just to make sure your microphone works, you know?
Yeah.
Let's make sure our questioning and who we're gonna have in the room, we like that. Like it was never the idea that anybody was like running with that as like a real, oh crap, like this might be the guy. It tells you it's like we're in banana land right now.
Yeah.
I kudos to whoever asked him about that.
Yes, I know. I saw I guess was it who retweeted
Did you retweet that?
Yeah, I just retweeted. Anthony Christensen is the one that retweeted Callum, so I saw it. I was like, oh man, that's funny. Good. So
maybe they would have beat Bama if their OC was dialed in.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, instead of interviewing for other jobs. Like that's also the thing too. Like with these coaching searches, man, like the trustworthiness of coaches themselves is really low. Like it's, how many times we've seen a coach says, I'm not going to this place, or I'm not doing that, or I don't get like, and then they go. And then there's other times where it's like, it's reported this person's connected. And then when the job doesn't happen, and then they get asked, hey, you almost go there. No, that was never happening. I'd never even talked to him. I never got a phone call. I don't even know. It's like, I don't trust anybody when it comes, especially like coaches, when it comes to like who's interviewed and whatnot. I'm not saying this one is an example because I'm sure it probably is a complete lie. But it is just funny how so many coaches will try to, and ADs and everybody, just try to pull the wool over everyone's eyes and be like, no, what are you talking about? I don't know.
I love that right now today, I could make a burner account named something stupid. I could make a burner account and just start tweeting out stuff, and outlets in the state of Arkansas would literally cite it and report it based on being like, well, this Twitter account, HogBuns69 says that, it's looking like Drinkwitz, so it must be it. I love that. I love that people in the state will just like report anything they see on Twitter.
Again, it's just they need that juice, man. They need the food. They need something to base it off of. And that's what. And it's funny you brought that up, Andrew, because I was talking to some friends of mine where they were just like, oh, there's always these people. How do you know what's real or what's not when these people talk about insiders and all this knowledge? I'm like, none of them are, because as we know, how many times, even here in Arkansas, how many times has a coaching search, news broke or whatever, because some random burner account or whatever, or somebody on, the Razor's Edge message board or whatever had this inside knowledge and this fast track and it broke the news. It's never happened. It's never going to happen. And these people, because they're always like, oh, I got somebody that knows the board of trustees or knows in the outs. 9 times out of 10, the board of trustees or the people that are involved, especially the people with the money, because that's the one making the hire, they're not stupid. That's why they have so much money, and that's why they made so much money. And they're not going to be like, I'm just going to willy-nilly tell my buddy Joey over here, just be like, hey, let me tell you where I'm at right now. I'm flying into New Orleans, about to go talk to John Summerall. Don't tell nobody. It's like, no, they're not being reckless about it. So, yeah, it is funny how, again, everybody wants information. We get it totally, but 99.9% of the time, it's all a bunch of bull crap and nobody knows anything. So
it's at least entertaining for a while.
It is that.
I'll give credit for that. I do appreciate the entertainment right now. If this was the typical end of season, fire the coach and you're hiring somebody within a week, we don't have time for all that. It gets too messy. But right now, when we got a couple months, sure, throw out the crazy rumors and let's talk about how stupid it is or how interesting it would be. And I can live with it being false. I guess I'll say that. It's too damn long in between here. So got to give us something.
I know, and I'm not calling out this guy because I know he's your former boss and everything. But still, the funniest thing ever was when the plane tracking thing was going on, and I was all in it because not that I thought that it meant anything, but it was just fun because people were eating it up. And I'll never forget when Trey Biddy went over to the Springdale airport because of all the people that were there for the airplane, and I just laugh about it because I'm like, man, it's like trying to get the news, and because I get it. If I'm Trey, I'm like, well, what's the harm in checking? Yeah, like might as well see it. But then it was being reported, and then the funniest thing is when the person that flew in on that airplane, I'm not going to out names, but they were with their mistress and not their wife, and so they were hiding it. They were hiding in the airplane because they fly in. Suddenly, this big group of Hogvillites are all in there, just being like, "We know he's in there. We know he's in that plane. Get him out of here!" And it was like that guy probably was like, "What is going on here?" Like it was. Oh man, I miss those days. So such simpler times. So. Yeah, good times. We'll get to some of your chats and a lot more because we know the coaching search and everything's going on right now. But want to remind everybody that we have a new sponsor here with Inside Arkansas. It's our friends over at the Eye Center of Northwest Arkansas, because your vision is essential to your top quality of life, and professional eye care is a must, not only for you, but also for your family. And at the Eye Center of Fayetteville and Northwest Arkansas, they have award-winning eye doctors that are board certified and professionally active. And one of the great things about it is that they are able to perform cataract surgery for you before the end of 2025. So that way you can have your holiday season in clear view. They also have refractive surgery for patients struggling with their readers, their glasses or contacts. They have surgery options for everyone, and they have availability right now for their eye exams with one of their new providers, Dr. Rebecca Brown, as well as they do Botox, filler, and IPL with their aesthetics provider, Olivia Risch. So they have it all going on. And when it comes to your vision, you cannot overstate the importance of it. So stop putting it off. Get it done, and get it done with the Eye Center of Northwest Arkansas. You can schedule an appointment right now by calling 479-442-2020. That's 479-442-2020. See what they did there with that final number there. You can also check out their website at eyecenterNWA.com. It's the Eye Center of Northwest Arkansas, making your vision and your path much more clear. All right.
Olivia Risch, I believe it's her brother, Dr. Risch, is my eye doctor over there, at the Eye Center in Northwest Arkansas. So yeah. Good folks, man. Good folks.
Good people. I actually, low-key, I need to go get a checkup on my eyes. It's one of those things, though, that I've always been scared to because I've had good vision, and I feel like, it's one of those things when I go, they're going to be like, you don't have good vision. I'm like, no. So I'm always afraid to.
Man.
Yeah, I wish the SEC refs would take a stop by the Eye Center before they officiate the game this weekend. Hey-o.
Right.
Yeah. In fact, I kind of I was telling them, it's like, if there was a consistent way of doing a segment, I thought it'd be awesome to have a special sponsored segment of like the worst blown call in sports that week and be like, sponsored by the Eye Center, so we can just get these eyes checked. I think that'd be kind of fun if there was consistency behind it. But then again, there may be. So, all right, let's go ahead and get into here with the some of the super chats in chats. Says super chats get read first. Jason is just he says, don't sleep on Bill Cosby. Hey-o. Yeah. Yeah. Come on, Jason. Come on, Jason.
Whoa, Jason. He picked up where he left off from Saturday.
Yeah. This is a family friendly show. Come on now.
Yeah, it's not even close to the most out of pocket thing Jason's super chatted us in the last 48 hours.
I tell you. JT Hazelwood is a new member. I thought Hazelwood was already a member, but he is now a member again. So we appreciate it. Appreciate it, Hazelwood. Also, Turner says, we need call-ins again, need to discuss Franklin. I know people always are talking about the call-ins and stuff. It's like
famously not discussed on the show, James Franklin.
Yeah, I'm sure it's just Turner wanting to voice his opinion instead of type it. But I mean, we talked a little bit about it yesterday. And again, I just don't understand I can understand, once again, if he's not your number one choice. I'm not going to argue with that. But anybody that if Arkansas hired James Franklin today, anybody that just is irate, any Razorback fan that's irate and thinks it's an awful disaster, I don't understand where your logic's at. I really don't.
My stance is the same as it was yesterday, obviously on James Franklin. But yeah, if you prefer somebody else, if you prefer John Summerall or whoever, okay, fine. But what I don't understand is the people that are just adamantly like, hell no to James Franklin. I just that is what baffles me. So it's not that you don't think he's the best coach in the world, or I get it, but to just completely rule him out with that track record, I don't know, man.
Yeah, I think we were all pretty aligned yesterday when we talked about it, and I thought we had great discussion. So if anybody missed that, definitely go check it out. My plea to the chat is that if you want us to talk about something, we talk about anything. Like there's never times where we're like, oh, we're not talking about that. But you got to be a little more specific, because like we talked about James Franklin for like 40 minutes yesterday. So it's like today, it's if you're like, hey, I want to hear y'all talk about James Franklin. Well, what do you want to hear us talk about James Franklin that we didn't talk about yesterday? Do you want to talk specifically about the top 5 record? Do you want to talk specifically about NIL? Like, we need a little bit more. And I guess maybe that's what they would do in call-ins. But historically, call-ins have not been the most nuanced questions asked.
Yeah. I'm going to figure out a way to where y'all can send in just voice notes, and then we'll have it play. We're going to figure out some way to do that. But, yeah.
Bass in the Ozarks ruined it for everybody. So.
Yeah, dang it, Trey.
Man.
Everybody's on his ass, man.
I know, always, man. It's always happening. But also, too, like Connor O'Gara of Saturday Down South, he actually wrote a pretty good article about James Franklin and the connection to Arkansas. If you haven't had a chance, go check it out. He's not like anti-James Franklin. He's also not pro-James Franklin. He's just saying, hey, if you hire James Franklin, here are the things like with his contract, with his buyout, with his stuff that goes on there that you gotta check out. But
I was just gonna say, I saw the one thing about like if his next school or his next job, I guess it would be school, didn't pay him $8 million, that Penn State had to make up the rest, or so. That's crazy. People talk about Sam Pittman's contract and some of those things in there. That is wild, dude.
Yeah, it was the same thing I think that Matt Rule had with his contract with the Panthers.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I think that's what he brought up, was talking about how with Matt Rule. In fact, I'm going to bring it up because that was the fascinating thing about it, was like the contract stuff. Because again, we all just, when I say we all, like fans and everybody, will just be like, hire Coach A, and then that's it. It's like, well, then you got to think of the stuff behind the scenes and everything, and some of the craziness that goes on there as well. But yeah, it's a contract that apparently is pretty fascinating in comparison to other coaches. And it says there's some offset language in the buyout that if he takes another job like Arkansas, consider that another complicated factor. In some ways, ironically enough, perhaps it's similar to the guy with Matt Rule. It says when Matt Rule was fired from the Panthers, he had a $40 million buyout. Nebraska then hired Rule and was on the hook for $34 million of that money. In Rule's own words, his introductory press conference at Nebraska, he says, I'm not making more money to work today than I would be if I was playing golf in Charlotte. So this was not a financial decision. Which is pretty true and pretty on point. So yeah, there apparently would be something like that if James Franklin was hired at Arkansas.
Listen, that is notable. Now, I will say it is very possible that there is a school out there, whether it's an FSU or an Auburn or whoever, that pays James Franklin more than $8 million. That is also possible. And I who knows? I don't want to ever give these very rich people the benefit of the doubt and be like, oh, they might not use finances to make this decision. But you mentioned Rule just there. If there were ever a time where you were going to maybe take a sweeter deal, where it wouldn't take move in the world to get you hired, this would probably be that situation, which like has to help Arkansas if they actually want to make a run.
Yeah, exactly right. Which appreciate the super chat from Turner once again. He says, logic is simple. Don't hire coaches whose players has given up on them. Also, if he cannot meet the expectations at Penn State, why would he at Arkansas?
The expectations are substantially lower at Arkansas. The expectations are to win the national title. His team this season came into the year with, I think, the third best odds in the country to win the national title. They were very much picked by a lot of people to win the national title. Once they got eliminated from that, once they lost to Oregon, and it was like, oh crap, we're probably not going to win the national title. Yeah, his players give up on him. So it's certainly something you would have to take into account. But like, I don't understand how people look at things through such a narrow-minded view of like, oh, if this thing in a completely different context happened, why would changing the context, changing the venue, changing everything matter? And I go back to his tenure at Vanderbilt, which I know we talked about yesterday. It's like, maybe he wouldn't be able to replicate that success at Vanderbilt, but it's like he literally had 3 winning seasons at Vanderbilt, 2 of which he went 9-4. Maybe he couldn't do that at Arkansas, but it's like I feel like what he did at Vanderbilt, I would sign up for that at Arkansas like 10 times out of 10.
Yeah, I mean he was a play away from being in the championship game literally last season.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't understand it.
There's a fair question to ask of, could he get to that level again at Arkansas? Sure. But like, if we're like, oh, why would we accept what he just did at Penn State? Well, he just rattled off 12 seasons of being like averaging 9-3. You know what I mean? Like, I would much rather him elevate Arkansas's standard to where Penn State's was. And I would much rather him get fired for falling short of that in a year like this, as opposed to getting fired for just sucking. You know what I'm saying? Season.
Like I would love to come into a season with those types of expectations because of what the head coach built.
Yep.
Yeah, 100%. The worst season James Franklin has had as a head coach, and it's been 15 years at Power 4 level coaching college football. The worst season he's had is 6-7, and I think he had it twice. Once at Penn State, once at Vanderbilt, and then there was the COVID year, which is a little bit weird. But literally every single season, it's been like 8-4 or better. And again, I'm not saying for sure he would be able to do that at Arkansas, but to answer the question of like, why would we look at what he's done in his career and want that at Arkansas? Well, because that would be better than Arkansas has been in 40 years.
Yeah. No, Jeff, he does not fit the Arkansas profile at all. At all. He almost won a national championship.
Yep.
The hell are we talking about?
He's never had a below 6-win season. Never had a below 6-win season.
Goodness gracious.
And then on top of that too, like he's 31-8 in his last 3 years. So like here's what I would say to Razorback fans. Take out anything. The only thing you know about the coach you are about to hire, say if it was going to be James Franklin, you don't know his name. Say the only thing you know about him is like, this coach was in the college football playoff last season and was a play away from playing for a national championship. I guarantee you so many of you would be like, yeah. I mean, it's an upgrade no matter what. Like just based on that little one thing alone. But it's like, well, look at his record against top 5 opponents and stuff. Who has a good record against top 5 opponents? It's kind of like saying the same thing of like, oh, well, this guy can't beat Nick Saban. Who can? Who can beat Nick Saban? It's not to the level of where, oh, this guy's going to come in and just completely and totally make Arkansas a national championship winning program overnight. I don't think anyone's saying that, but like you said, elevating the profile, elevating it to where you're suddenly a lot more relevant, you're a lot more competitive, you're a lot better off than what you've been previously. It's a no-brainer to me. And here's my thing is I don't even know if James Franklin's interested. He may have zero interest in going to Arkansas, but the idea that, oh, it's just, this is a dumb thing that shouldn't even be considered. Come on. You just can't realistically have that take.
Every time we have this conversation, the conversation immediately goes from we should never hire this guy in a million years to, well, he's not going to come to Arkansas, which again, that part I can agree with. Like it is very unlikely, but like, let's make no mistake. Let's get on the same page here. If James Franklin has any interest in coming to Arkansas, Arkansas should go all in.
1,000%.
Let's talk about legitimate candidates now. We spent enough time on James Franklin.
Yeah. We literally just had people being like, hey, I think y'all should talk about James Franklin. We talk about James Franklin. Why are we talking about James Franklin?
Yeah, he might be realistic.
I am oblivious to the fact that James Franklin coached in the shitty Big Ten.
Yeah.
The Big Ten, I'm not joking, guys. The Big Ten literally might be the best conference in football right now. And that's not an exaggeration. Like you can obviously there's still a good argument to be made for the SEC, but like as of this very moment, a very real argument could be made. The Big Ten is the single best conference in college football.
Yeah. And last year it 100% was. It was a better conference than the SEC last year. Hands down. It was. And that was a conference that James Franklin went through. Because that's the thing is like you think about it, like it's yes, you had the old school Big Ten teams of Ohio State and Michigan and Penn State and all that. But then you throw in, hey, let's get Oregon in here. Oregon, who was the best team in the country last season, undefeated, they were in the Big Ten. And USC is in the Big Ten. Like they have good teams in the Big Ten. So yeah, I just don't think we can have this 10 years ago thinking of like what reality is. It's just not that case. Just not that case. Tucker says
we have some people out there who are like pro Dan Mullen and anti James Franklin. I don't know, man.
That goes back to what I said yesterday, Curtis, where it's like, I'm not interested in hearing who you don't want as the head coach because clearly y'all don't want anybody. But like, who is it that it's like, oh, you can't hire that guy. So here is this objectively better candidate. And look, maybe, if you're like, hey, my objectively better candidate is Dan Lanning or like whatever, like, yeah, sure. But if we're saying James Franklin is unrealistic, then how can we also be like, yeah, we can't, that would be a bad hire.
Yeah, again, that's what I'm saying. And that's my biggest point I'm making is I'm like, it's okay to say he's not your number one. It's okay to say he's not your top three. But to just say that it would be awful and terrible and disastrous if you hire James Franklin, it's not true. It's not a thing. And you cannot look at it that way, folks. You just can't do it that way. That's why the voting that we put up on InsideArkansas.com, that's why I gave you so many other, like you can choose different coaches because it doesn't need to be just one like make or break coach. Like, when John Calipari, remember Curtis, before John Calipari got hired and some of the names that were thrown, was there just one coach that you felt like had to be it or anybody else would be a disaster? Or were there a handful of coaches that Arkansas could have hired that was in the mix that you would have thought would have been pretty good, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was all about Chris Beard in the beginning and, his track record of winning. He's got his other transgressions, but that probably would have went pretty darn well at Arkansas. You could miss me with the Jerome Tang stuff, but I was interested in Will Wade. I mean, there were a lot of names there that were involved that could have been good. And yeah, you can look at any coach out there and, nitpick or find something that you don't like in them. But I do hope that we get to a point, and I hope that the committee, whoever that is comprised of, makes a hire to where we can just have folks happy. I just don't want to be in a situation. I almost worry that it's been so like toxic and frustrating and everything like that people have forgotten how to be excited and optimistic and looking forward and everything like that. So I don't know, but
100%. As angry as we sound right now, like it's not going to be hard at all for me to talk myself into like any of these guys. Like if they hire Alex Golesh, I'm going to be like, yeah, that's cool. I mean, I like his resume, Russian, cool. If you hire Summerall, I'll gladly be like, you know what? He had a lot of success at Troy, had a lot of success at Tulane. Cool, let's do it. They hire Franklin. Oh man, yeah, he was one of the most stable coaches in college football. Dan Mullen. I will talk myself into Dan Mullen easily. And so it's like, I'm with you, Curtis, where it's like, I don't know how there's so many people that like cannot see a world where some of these coaches, they're like, I cannot imagine hiring Dan Mullen. I can't imagine hiring James Franklin. I can't imagine. I'm just like, that is nuts to me. Right now, Arkansas fans are the fat guy who's watching a movie at their house and they're like, oh, Rachel McAdams, she's fat. Like, relax, dude.
The Rachel McAdams pool there is crazy.
Yeah, of all the names, that was a good one. I will say to this, and I'm not defending the fans, but I am wondering, is it maybe because of the lack of like trust that they have in those in charge of making a good hire? Maybe when it comes to trust, it might be at an all-time low for like, because when Cal got hired, I would say there was still some trust there, because you had, before everyone started knowing what really came out, but you had the weird Hunter Yurchek video of the bus, which in hindsight was very bad. But at the time, you're kind of like, okay, like he must have something in the bag. And then, before that, the Sam Pittman thing was, still kind of new with Yurchek and everything. The Muss thing worked out. So I guess my point is, I'm wondering if a lot of the tension and animosity maybe some Razorback fans have and passion is because they don't trust the people in charge to do the right thing. So they feel like they really have to push it and hammer it and make sure that everyone knows that this is their guy. I'm wondering if there's a little element of that in it.
Yeah, there definitely is. I think that's a good point. And that's why like this is a very nuanced conversation. I don't understand why people look at it through such a lens of like, oh well, this guy got fired, so you can't hire him, or this guy lost against the top 5 team, you can't hire him, or this thing happened. It's like there's a lot of things that can go right and a lot of things that can go bad. And again, we can say, hey, would this coach? How would he fit with the front office? How would he fit with the AD? Would we get the NIL? Like, again, those are separate things, but it's like we can't even have those conversations because you guys don't think any of these guys are real candidates.
Yeah. And also, too, real quick, because I know we'll have some other things to talk about. You talk about fit. I had some people talk to me about fit and saying, well, does James Franklin fit? Here's the deal. You never, ever hire any sort of coach based on if they will fit at a place like Arkansas. Because what fits at Arkansas? Well, when you win, fans will fit to you. Fans will adapt to you. It's not some sort of thing of like Michigan. We got to have a Michigan man. Or if it's like, LSU or, some place that feels like they have to have somebody that they equate to. It's just like winning people adapt to. Well, just be honest. Do you think Nolan Richardson fit in at Arkansas when he first got here? Nope. But what made everybody adapt and fit in? Winning cures all. So that's all I care about is just winning. That should be your number one priority, is just getting someone who wins, regardless of fit and all that stuff. So we'll get some other things, get some more of your chats, folks. Want to remind everybody, though, the Walter Christmas Line of Arkansas, best place around when it comes to getting that professional holiday lighting, no matter if it's for Halloween or for Christmas. They do it all. They're the best in the business. They do a great job. And we've already had a lot of testimonials from some of our audience members. And of course, Curtis also had some lights put up on his house, and it is awesome. They do such a good job, and they make it so easy for you because you don't have time to put up your own lights. You don't have time to go through all of that. Well, let them do it, because they're going to do it to not only they install them, they provide the materials, they can do any color, and they take them down in January. It's as simple as that. And if it's for Halloween or for Christmas, get it done, and get it done with the best in the business. It's Walter Christmas Lighting of Arkansas. You can call and text our guy Brett for a free estimate at 479-459-1380. It's 479-459-1380. It's Walter Christmas Lighting of Arkansas, your local holiday lighting experts. Which, again, Curtis, when are you going to do that lighting show, huh? When's that going to happen?
It's not.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. I didn't mean to call you out on it then.
Until people start being nice again, I'm not doing it. Until we make Farmer Don happy. When we make Farmer Don happy, we're gonna do an episode in front of the lights.
Who's Farmer Don?
Exactly.
Oh, in the chat.
he's crashing out in all caps this afternoon. So
that's when you know he's serious. Great. Well, coaching search season after all. That's the way it is. Let's see. Case says, do y'all think an Amish coach would be a good hire? Unconventional times and saying unconventional solutions. Sure.
In the midst of all the chaos in the chat, Case is just firing off random baked thoughts.
I was thinking a Mormon, but whatever.
Yeah. I like this from G Win, which I believe this is my guy that spoke to his class over there at Prairie Grove. He says, what makes you hesitant about Bobby Petrino, John? Followed by Michael saying, John Neighbors wants Bobby P, even if he loses every single game.
Those are literally separated by 0 minutes. Like, those were back-to-back chats of like, why do you not like Bobby, John? John will like Bobby no matter what.
Yeah, that's the thing is, like, what makes me hesitant about Bobby Petrino is the fact that, he's been on staff, and he's, you do want to retread. Do you want a guy that's, depending on what he does the rest of the year, is he the example? Is he going to be financially supported like a coach needs to be? Are there going to be any issues? Like, there's just a lot of things to where, but I'm also not saying like Kopesky's like, you want some even if you lose every game. No, I don't. I do not. He's not like Bobby Petrino right now where it stands. He's not my top 4. I may say 5. He's not my top 4 coaching candidates I want for Arkansas. But I also understand that if my top 4 say no, which probably will happen, then you could do a lot worse than Bobby Petrino. So, I think, again, nuance, as you say, Andrew. There's a lot of nuance to this. And, Bobby's still got 6 games left as a head coach. Maybe he doesn't, maybe he doesn't. But I'm telling you right now, he can't go 0-7 or just 0-7 or 1-6 and stay on. Like, that just cannot happen. And if that does happen, then people need to riot. I'll just say that. Kingsley says if fans were smart, James Franklin would be leading. If fans were realistic, Rhett Lashley would be leading.
Interesting.
I think. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if
Rhett
that's.
Lashley seems to be ducking the smoke.
Yeah,
Rhett
I think
Lashley
so.
looks at that Arkansas job and is like, I don't know if I can do it.
Isn't it? I'm starting to think, guys, because we know about like with Lashley and some of the history of Arkansas football coaches who were like from Arkansas, played at Arkansas, didn't end up being Arkansas coaches. I'm starting to wonder, I'm like, maybe that's why they don't become the Arkansas coaches, because they played here and they were around it. They're like, I don't want any part of that. Like maybe it is an Arkansas problem. And maybe that's being too simplistic about it, but it is kind of interesting.
Let's do overreaction segment here. So
we haven't been doing that.
Yeah. If the rumored, thing about Rhett Lashley is that, he looks at the Arkansas job, he wonders if it's like the most stable situation. He's got people in his ear telling him, "Hey, Arkansas sucks. You're going to have a hard time there," and he thinks he would be better equipped to handle the job later in his career. Not the craziest take of all time, but like if Rhett Lashley truly looks at the Arkansas job and feels that way, we should not want that guy, right? That's not the guy you want to hire to run your program, is a guy that looks at it and wonders if it's the best situation for him, and he's going to wait and see if he can find a more opportune situation. Probably not going to be the guy that takes you into the promised land, right?
That's how I feel. Yeah, that's exactly how I feel about it.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with Rhett Lashley. By the way, there's nothing wrong with being at a job that you like, staying at that job you like, having success at that job you like. But it's like, if you look at Arkansas and you say, Arkansas is not the kind of place I can win at or whatever, and you don't think, hey, man, Arkansas is the type of place I would love to have that job so I could be the one that takes it over the top. I feel personally like I want the coach who views the Arkansas job as the biggest opportunity of his career, and he's going to work here. I
don't want to hear, I want Arkansas to be my last job unless you want it to be your next job.
Right.
Come here and make it your last job. Don't leave.
Yeah.
We already did the last job thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and that's my thing too, is like, because I'm with you, Andrew, 100%. Like, coaches don't think of it in that regard. Like, if they want the job, they'll take the job no matter the situation, no matter the circumstance. I mean, obviously, they're maybe a bit more hesitant, but like, if he wants the job, and like, basically put it this way, if he wants the job and he wants it, like, this is my dream job and everything, and it's known, and Arkansas doesn't hire him, that to me says that whatever Arkansas has going on behind the scenes is so bad and so set up for failure that this man is like, I won't even accept my dream job because of how bad it is over there. But more often than not, if it's your dream job, you're going to go. It's just not going to be like, well, maybe in a few years, we'll see. It's like, no, it's like, it's your job. You go take your job. You go take it no matter what, even if you're not qualified for it. Like, even if you have no idea what you're doing, it's like, you're going to go take it. It's your dream job because you have that confidence in yourself. So yeah, I don't buy that at all. I don't know
if it's all this coaching search back and forth that's got my stomach hurting right now, or if it's, I've got one eye on SEC basketball media day, and I'm just watching Lamont Paris up there, and I can't stop thinking about how his player told me and Scotty that every morning he gets a Starbucks coffee and Taco Bell breakfast. And I don't know which it is, but either way, I'm just like, oh man, I feel so good all of a sudden. But
as the person, like I'm a big on like going to get like maybe my drink from Sonic and then getting my snack from somewhere else. I do stuff like that a lot. That's crazy to do that every day. Like that be your routine.
And apparently he does. It's like he walks. You know what I mean? Like he takes a walk, goes to both places. Do you think he's got to get back to his office before he starts that process, right? Like you can't have Starbucks and Taco Bell breakfast as you're walking. That's dangerous, man.
My brother in Christ, I bet you he makes sure that there's a porta potty halfway through. I guarantee you.
Got to.
Yeah, like that would be rough. I think Taco Bell, which we all love Taco Bell here, but I feel like Taco Bell, if someone told me, he's like, hey, I get fast food breakfast every morning. And they said, and I was like, so which one is it? And they say Taco Bell. I'm like, you're weird. Like of all the ones, like nothing wrong with it, but it's just, if that's your everyday routine, that's strange. Because if they got a Taco Bell around, they got, a Chick-fil-A, they got these McDonald's, they got other places too. I just don't think Taco Bell's
his
the move.
guts must just be immune. Like he probably doesn't even use the bathroom anymore.
Ugh, that's tough sledding out there. Tough sledding. We'll have our heavy hitters here in a bit, as well as getting to some more of your chats, folks. But I want to remind everybody that the official law firm here of Inside Arkansas, of course, is our friends over at Hickey and Hull Law. Things are about to get better for you, because anytime you're dealing with some legal issues, you need the best advising possible. And that's what Hickey and Hull Law does for you. They do divorce, custody cases, criminal cases, civil litigation cases, personal injury cases, estate planning, everything. They help you out with it, and they are the best in the business. And they are here in the state of Arkansas, where they have offices in Fayetteville and in Fort Smith and in Little Rock and in Mena. So no matter where you need the help, they'll be there for you. So if you have any of these issues that are going on that you want to make sure that you're getting protected, don't do it alone. Do it with Hickey and Hull Law. Call them today at 479-434-2414. That's 479-434-2414. You can also check out their website at hickeyandhull.com or scan the QR code on your screen. It's Hickey and Hull Law. Things are about to get better. Okay, so a few more of your chats here too, as long as you guys are behaving in here. Let's see. Jake says, heard someone mention Dowell Loggins because of how great of a guy he is and how many Arkansas players chose us because of him. I know it's not huge, but thoughts? No.
You got to make like 38 people say no before you get there.
I think I told Andrew when we were driving either to or from Hot Springs the other day that I was going to come on the show one day this week and throw Dal out there. Just act as serious as I could possibly be and just troll. And now we have this, so I don't have to.
Listen, Dal is solid people. You know, he's a hog. We appreciate his services. We respect him. He's had a solid little career as an OC, calling plays, doing whatever.
This might be his last job.
I mean, no disrespect. You got to make like a lot of people say no. And I mean like a lot of people say no before you get there.
You know what this compares to me is you hiring Darrell Walker as your basketball coach. Like, and that's nothing against Darrell Walker, former Hog, all that. But it's like, really? Like you said, Andrew, you got to have 30 people say no before you did that. And I like Dowell Loggins. I really do. But right now, you might as well have just kept Sam Pittman, in my opinion.
You know who the last App State coach with Arkansas ties is that we passed on?
Stop. That's my buddy. You know, that's my guy Eli. I did get asked by a Missouri person. They're like, if they hired Eli Drinkwitz, like, what would you do? I was like, I have to delete some tweets, I guess, and me and him would have to be buddies. But I think after our intervention there at SEC Media Days, I think we're good. But either way, it would be
too. Dowell Loggins, by the way.
Well, there you go. How's Shad doing? Shad's up there still, right?
Shad's killing it,
dude. Matter of fact, I know he's very high on the
for those
national
asking,
rushing.
It's Rashad Dubinion is who I'm referring to. Just to make sure everyone's like, yeah.
Like, Dylan Ag over there too.
Yeah.
Rashad Dubinion is 5th in the country in rushing.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Love that for him. Dude, I always liked Rashad Dubinion. I really did. I remember the time he came to our old office space and sat down with him. He's good people. So I always liked him. What was the meaning behind Shad? Was there a meaning at all?
It's just his name. Rashad.
Okay.
Short for...
Thought there was another meaning behind it.
Might have been. I don't know.
I mean, I don't know. Like, obviously, with Andrew saying that, I'm like, yeah, that was a really stupid question. But I was like, I thought that there was some sort of meaning, but maybe not. Anyways, a few chats here too. Hickory Hawk says, "Who is Bobby's third quarter play caller? If that guy can get it right, they have a chance for the upset." I don't know. It's like the Hugh Freeze thing. He's like, he's got a first quarter play caller, second quarter play caller, all of that. I don't know, but yeah, that's definitely been the problem. Like the consistency there is pretty rough. So, which is so weird, like the third quarter.
And it is strange because, Bobby's notorious for being, 2-3 plays ahead. And he's kind of always thinking in advance and everything. But for whatever reason, they come out after halftime and it seems like it's just stagnant for a couple drives there. So I don't know what that's all about. Maybe he just has to be in the moment. Like the clock has to be running. You got to have the pressure on. And he can adjust on the fly, but you give him 20 minutes to think about it. He gets put in a pretzel. I don't know, man. It's weird.
Shout out to David here saying Vanderbilt is a 2.5-point favorite against LSU. What world is this?
That's wild, dude.
It's crazy.
They very well might beat him. I mean,
is Clark Lee going to stay at Vanderbilt? If he did that, is he going to stay at Vanderbilt? I mean, I guess he will, but that would be nuts. I mean, and shout out to them, man. Shout out to them. I'm happy for them too. So Hey, SEC Network, Curtis, I'm sure you saw it. 250. Get to see the guys, the Razorbacks. 250. They just tweeted it out. So I'm sure they'll be on time as well. Is it going to be Seth Greenberg interviewing them again? Or I think they have Big Peter Burns.
Could be, yeah. Pat Bradley I just saw Pat Bradley there.
Pat PB.
I don't know who else is on that panel, but yeah.
I love PB. It's just sometimes every time I see him, I feel like he always has to introduce himself to me again, which he knows who I am, but it's just like, hey, Johnny, what's going on, Neebs? It's like, yeah, it's good to see you too, PB. All right, a few other ones here. Scott says, midnight yell scheduled for Arvest Ballpark at 10 p.m. Friday. Let's have 5K Hog fans there. Crash that.
Is that for real?
We really do probably need to pull up.
I mean, I believe it. It's like that would make sense because I remember they did it in Springdale last time because they didn't want to do it in Fayetteville because they think, it's too close to campus. But that would make sense if they did it there. So there you go, Scott. Spread the word. Now, quick story. I had a megaphone in 2013 and I went there. And I'm not going to tell you how I got that megaphone, but I had a megaphone while we were camping out for the A&M game. Like, man, those were good times. Camping out for a football game you thought you could win. And Arkansas didn't. But disgusting weather. I don't know. Did you guys go to that game or remember that game at all in 2013?
Probably I definitely didn't go
to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was miserable. The weather was miserable. And so it's probably going to be miserable again this week. So something about when A&M comes to town. Just how it always works out that way. But all right, also a few more here too. David says the folks on that plane in Springdale just wanted to catch a Coldplay concert in peace. That's
nice.
pretty good. Yeah. Also, Ben says, hey, Curtis, did the SEC media used to do all their SEC teams differently because they were next to no big men on this one? Our boy Ewan should have been on there.
Yeah, I was talking about that on the pod at the Palace this morning. That kind of surprised me. No, because you essentially you just vote on whoever you want to, and then they take the top vote getters, and that's how they place them on the teams there. So if it's 5 guards who are the top vote getters, then they'll put 5 guards on the first team and everything. But it was surprising to me because I was looking at it. I was trying to think, all right, did the Arkansas guys get snubbed at all? Should somebody else have been on here? Who had a case? And I started thinking about, like Ewan with the numbers he put up at Florida State. Like, could he have snuck a third team? And I was looking at it in real time, and I was like, so who are the other centers? Oh, there literally are none on here. So there's some power forwards, some 4-men and stuff, but no real bigs. So my thought process on it is maybe Malik Ewan winds up being the best big man in the league.
I like that. It reminds me of the NBA. They do all NBA, and they actually do like 2 guards, 2 forwards, 2 centers. And so there will be a year where like Joel Embiid's first team all NBA and like LeBron's second team because you can only have 2 forwards. And it always cracks me up where I'm like, you should probably do just 5 best players, 10 best players, whatever. Mm-hmm. But then, when it works in your way, I'm like, you got to get a center on there.
Yeah,
what are we doing? Real ball here.
That's right. All right, let's go ahead and get into who our heavy hitters are here on Inside Arkansas Live. And it's presented by our friends over at HD Roofing and Construction. Because speaking of storms, it looks like it's going to be a little bit stormy on Saturday. Well, if you have a home here in Arkansas, you make sure your roof is good to go. Because there's nothing worse than trying to deal with a damaged roof where it could not only change your life as far as you having to move out of there while it gets replaced, but it could really damage all of your possessions. It could even harm you, and you don't want to have that. So let HD Roofing and Construction give you that peace of mind with a free inspection. They'll come out and tell you, hey, you need to replace this roof right away. Or they may come out and tell you and look at it and say, hey, this roof's good to go. No worries. Nothing at all. But that's why you have to choose HD Roofing, because they have professionalism, top quality materials that they use, as well as expert installation for every single bit of your roofing needs. And you can give them a call today at 501-428-0429. That's 501-428-0429. You can also check out their website at hdarkansas.com, hdarkansas.com. And scan that QR code on your screen. It's HD Roofing and Construction, who is our heavy hitter for today. I'll go ahead and kick off our heavy hitter because apparently Kirby Smart is a heavy hitter of the calories, because Lane Kiffin was asked out-of-pocket question at a press conference about Kirby Smart because, of course, they're going to be playing Georgia here. And Lane had, of course, a very Lane Kiffin answer. Take a listen.
The wall question, you and Kirby, probably some of the more demonstrative coaches on the field. Who do you think burns more calories in a game, you or him?
I don't know. That's a good question. I walked by the TV and saw his press conference today, so it doesn't look like he's burned too many calories. But he does have a lot of energy in the games, and he coaches really passionate. And and I've given him heat before about the weight loss part. He says he's too stressed to work out.
Just because I'm like, man, out here just calling Kirby Smart fat, pretty much. So he is a heavy hitter at least. But that's the thing. It's like Lane, of course, he at the end of his like, yeah, just to let you know, I give him some crap about that. It's like Lane's great on social media, and sometimes he's pretty boring in the media, like when it comes to press conferences. But things like that, it seems like the guys that he worked with, like he does that with Saban, he does it with Smart, does with all that. He feels a lot more comfortable taking shots. So, but just something that's great for Lane, and it's gonna be a great game, but also just funny to take shots at his weight and say, I saw him on video. He doesn't look like he's burning any calories.
Lane Kiffin's like the notorious, I got to find a place to do hot yoga on the road guy. That's him, isn't it? I'm almost positive. So
it is.
Yeah, and
he had the V-neck going on, the white V-neck, like in that video right there. So it's like, yeah, he's feeling that way. Cal has to find the Catholic Church wherever he goes. Lane Kiffin's got to find the hot yoga studios wherever he goes. It's just part of it.
We're not that far removed from Lane Kiffin being a little chubby. Like he had gotten a little chubby there for a few years. Like his early Ole Miss tenure, he was, he had a little.
He looked like a thumb. Yeah, he looked like a thumb. I remember seeing him at SEC Media Days, and I'm like, ew, what happened? But then, hey, as soon as he gets divorced, man, back out there in the market, starts getting tan, starts getting thin, and there you have it. So, but Kirby Smart through Lane Kiffin, my heavy hitter for today.
Gotcha. Well, my heavy hitter is James Franklin, and if you idiots don't, I'm just kidding. We're done with that for the day. No, it's the basketball guys, obviously. SEC Media Day out there. It's a little bit different, man, than it was in the Musselman regime. Hence, kind of why we're not there and everything. But I'm not even talking about John Calipari that much in this case. He is going to go up there today and he'll answer a couple questions about the team, but he's going to use it as his opportunity to stump about the transfer portal being broken and his typical soapbox type of things. Like this is another platform for him to do that, and he's going to do it, and that's all good. But it's cool for like TB's been there before. I don't think DJ has, but for those guys to be front and center, they're going to be on SEC Network at 2:50. You'll be able to check them out, and they're going to be interviews that are out with those guys. And hey, man, you got a couple hogs out there representing the brand at SEC Media Day. So good for those guys. Happy for them. I was thinking about this when I was doing my my rankings of the SEC, which, by the way, listen to the Pod the Palace. We got SEC rankings and a top 25 poll that we're going to be updating weekly. But find me an inside-out duo in the SEC that has more experience, has played more basketball in the SEC than DJ Wagner and Trevor Brazile. I just don't think you're going to be able to do that. And that experience pays dividends, and happy that those guys are going to be there. Hopefully Trevin is a little bit more, has a little bit more pep in his step when he's there this year. He didn't have too much to say the last time he was there.
Well, let me real quick, Curtis, I'm curious. Do you think, what was it last year? I forgot. Was it Myron Metcalf? Somebody asked Cal, they were like, hey, what do you mean? You left Kentucky. Talk about that. And he was like, I have talked about that a billion times and I'm not going to do it. And I'm wondering if there's going to be another question that's going to be asked like, hey, Cal, would you just walk us through last year's Kentucky game and what that meant to you? Going through that and winning that. He's probably like, watch the Vice documentary and I'm moving on. Like, so somebody's going to ask him some question that everybody has heard a billion times. And he's just going to be like, I don't want to do this anymore.
I appreciated Cal doing that because it's very easy for Cal to get more attention than his team or to get more attention than his players or to kind of get swept up in it. And last year at Media Days, I was kind of worried that would happen. And I love that he right off the bat was just like, I'm here to talk about my team. Let's talk about my team. Let's talk about what we got going on this season. And so I imagine Cal's going to have that type of mentality tomorrow where he's like, I'm not here to do the, big picture. How do I feel about things? Let's talk about my guys. I got a good squad. Let's talk about them.
I hope that he does that. I hope that he talks about his players. I really do. I'm going to give you the talking points right now. It's going to be, last year I asked for the team. There was no team. Now we have a team. It's going to be the transfer portal sucks. We've got to get that fixed. It's going to be, guess what I'm doing right now? Donor insurance. Guess what else I'm doing? AI. I don't know what the hell AI is. That's it. That's going to be what we hear from Coach Cal today. I hope I'm wrong, and I hope we get some cool nuggets about the team, but I just have a feeling this is going to be one of those things where he doesn't give a damn what questions are asked of him. He's going to say whatever he wants to say up there. So we'll see what it looks like, but at least give us something cool on, Malik Thomas or something.
I like that. I like that. Well, my heavy hitter is sticking on the theme of coaches saying things at press conferences. This is a little bit of a I don't know how I feel about it. Sharon Moore, Michigan football coach, has gone to the Eric Musselman school of doing a bit to inspire his team. He wants his team to have a blue-collar mentality this week. And so he was asked if there's an overall message to his team. He says, the message is simple. We got to get back to work. That's why I have this blue-collar jacket on. And you can't see that little white thing there, but it says Sharon as if he were, working as a mechanic or whatever. And he wants his team to embody that blue-collar mentality. How do we feel about this as a motivational tool?
That's awful,
man. I don't know,
that's
bro.
just awful, man. It's like that's I can get behind little funny bits like that if you're like that, but I'm sitting there, I'm like, what? Dude, like how much did you pay for that jacket? Like, and just to make this work and to do it in your press conference, and it's just that's brutal. But hey, if it works out, it works out. But that's cringe. That's very cringe to me.
That's
Eric
tough,
Musselman
man.
wearing the UPS shirt. You
Yeah.
remember when he was like, "We got to deliver tonight, boys." He's like wearing the UPS jacket. I think about this like when you call that body shop or whatever, and you're like, "Hey, can y'all get me one of those that says Sharon on it, please?" Like that has to be an embarrassing phone call.
You remember when he had Riley print out like 500 pieces of paper that said like defensive rebound, and they were just putting them all over the guys' cars and in their dorm room, like just all over the place.
Yeah, I
leading
like
up to the game, and
that's at least I like that way more because at least it's like you're saying something real of like, hey, this is our point of emphasis: rebounding. Getting back to work, I feel like is a pretty vague message.
Well, and that too, and also I feel like with Muss, he was doing it with the team. Like, yes, it was on film and it was like put out, but it's like he's doing it with the team. This is like he's walking into this press conference with the media being like, I'm wearing this. It's like, okay, that's great. Kind of reminds me of, I'm going to crap on Houston Nutt a little bit. When Houston Nutt was at Ole Miss, I remember he did this thing where he set mouse traps throughout the entire practice facility. And everyone was like, what in the world's going on? This is when they were bad. And everyone was like, oh, he must be saying it's like for a trap game, oh, don't get caught in the trap. But no, what it actually was is something to the extent of, you may want that cheese, but you just can't have it yet. So you got to be careful. It's like, what? What does that mean? It's like, just, okay, sure. So, yeah. Hey, but again, if it works out, then it'll be the coolest thing ever. Everyone's going to be buying those Sharon jackets if they end up keep winning. But, yeah. Speaking of what is the most cringe thing like that you've got of any sport, of any coach that's like done something like that?
It's probably something Muss did, but
the scientist jacket, the lab coat.
Oh, for me, it was the track uniform.
Yeah.
That was the one that got me.
Some
of them I thought were really funny.
Uniform. It was always a little tough.
Yeah. Although I did laugh when they were in Spain or whatever, and he dressed up like the Trojan warrior or whatever, and he had like the shield on and the sword and everything. That was kind of funny.
That inspired him so much, he took a job to be the head coach of the Trojans.
That's right. The Halloween deal was all funny. Their bits there. Yeah, I think the track uniform for me, I was just kind of like, but I kind of feel that way, and I love Muss, man. But him dressing up in the full USC football uniform now every Saturday, I'm just like, I don't know, bro.
It's easy to look at it now and be like, kind of corny.
Yeah.
But when it was our guy, we're like, no, that's cool.
Yeah. Well, again, he's going back to winning. It's like you can do whatever you want when you're winning, but if you're not winning at the high clip, it's like people are like, all right, buddy, just go over there and sit back.
Would it be drink and like the Darth Vader stuff? And
that was
got to be up there.
Yes, that
was
was
with Dan Mullen, by the way.
Yeah, it was.
That was against Dan Mullen. He was trolling Dan Mullen.
Yes, because the previous year he won the Zoom conference, wore a Darth Vader helmet. And then, in the press conference, he puts his hood up, and he's like got a little like lightsaber about this long. He's like, may the force be with you. And I'm like, okay, bud. Like, all right. It's like, how did the nerd make Star Wars sound nerdy? Like, I mean, that was bad. That was tough. So yeah, that was pretty bad.
Mark
Hope
at BYU's gym in the uniform doing the CATS cats thing. That's up there.
Everything Mark Pope has ever done. You want to talk about corny stuff that coaches do? He's way up there in a lot of these. But nobody's ever put a camera in that guy's face, so nobody knows about most of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I couldn't just have this be a Muss roast because we love Muss.
Yeah. Well, let me say, I was going to bring it up for on the positive side for Muss. When I fell in love with the guy was when I can't remember how many games, when he did that video thing of being in the stands, like by himself, and he was yelling at like the team as a fan, being like, this stall ball stuff doesn't work. Like all the stuff that Razorback fans say that is so absurd. And then like I was like, yes, I was like, I love this guy. He's so self-aware. And it's basically like, it was his way of being like, hey, all you idiots, shut up. I know what I'm doing. And they're like, all right. Like I loved that so much from him. That was great stuff. All right. Let's view your chats here, folks. Appreciate everybody tuning in. And again, some SEC basketball media days, man. Like, which by the way, we were anti changing up the way they did now, where it used to be men and women separate days, and now they've kind of put them all together. Which I know why they did it, but it kind of weird. I feel like.
Yeah, no disrespect intended. I don't like that at all. It's been kind of weird to follow here throughout the course of the day a little bit, and like here we are at 1:30, and there's only been like 2 of the the men's teams have gone, and it's a little bit all over the place. So
no,
but Cal is next. So
yeah, well, they still should do it like very differently than what it is.
Yeah.
Let's see. Adam says John Pelfrey announced his wife had cancer, so Razorback Nation needs to pray for him and his family. I did not see this, but if that's the case, that's awful. That's terrible.
Yeah, I saw that post. It's too bad.
Man.
You know what's funny is that comment, and this is messed up, but the comment came in as we were talking about corny things that coaches have done. So I was reading it through that lens. I was like, that doesn't sound corny. That just sounds like unfortunate.
Right. Yeah. I hate to hear that, man.
Like in my brain, I was like, oh, did John Pelfrey do something weird? Oh, his wife has cancer.
Yeah, no, that's awful. That's awful. Yeah. So thoughts and prayers to him and his family. That's tough. Hickory Hog also says, I need one of the reporters to ask if we can go better than 500 in January. Sure. Yeah. I mean, it'd be nice. It would be nice. I just, but here's the thing, guys, that I'm scared of, because I've been one of those. It's like, get me a good January. I know the time that they have a great January is when they're going to get bounced in the first round of the tournament. I just know that's what's going to happen. I'm going to be like, dadgummit, nope, let's go back to the terrible January. So let's go back to the bad Januaries.
Yeah, that's the risk we run with trying to have a good regular season for a change.
Yeah,
I know. It's like, baseball's had some great regular seasons. Football is not. Basketball hasn't really much either. It's just like, geez, just the happiness and the elevation of happiness when you're just a consistently good team would be really nice for a change. And maybe basketball does it. They're going to be set up to do it, so maybe they do it. Let's see. White River Cafe from Augusta, Arkansas. I guess they upped their location.
Yeah,
made it specific because we were talking about there's various locations. But Appreciate says the way football has been over the past decade, it would be hard to get excited with just about any coaching choice. Hurts the soul.
Which is a very fair, and I wish more people would just say that, where they were like, you know what, we could hire this guy, but will we really make it work with him? Like that's fair, but it seems like a lot of people hate the coaches, and it's because they have that in the back of their minds, like we were saying earlier.
Yeah, it's a trust factor, man. It's a trust factor. Let's see. Also, David says Hunter Yurchik says we have to trade Cal for one other SEC coach, and he's leaving it up to you to decide who you're taking. I mean, Golden is probably who I'd take right now. Yes, maybe.
Nate Oates.
I don't know if he would, if he'd be able to go around to the sororities and try to get him to come to the games.
If he wins a title game,
dude, Nate Oates he's really good. Oh man, I don't like him, but he's
like
really
but
good.
I think Nate Oates is probably it. Although I will say, if you had told me 4 years ago, I would have been like, yeah, Nate Oates, like for sure has like a elite team by now. He hasn't done it yet. Like he hasn't reached the heights that I think he's going to reach as a coach just yet. But I still think Nate Oates is the guy. He's a pretty safe bet because he's fairly young. The next decade, Nate Oates is going to probably win a national title. And
you're right, because they made that Final Four 2 years ago, but you just knew they had no chance of winning. That was UConn's year, and Purdue was in there. I see some people saying Chris Beard. For me, it's like, I'm not saying that ship is completely sailed, but my time of being super, super excited about that, I feel like has passed. So Ty Golden's really, I mean, hell, he just won a title. So
I'm not coming back to Chris Beard and begging for
no
for anything. No, I'm done with that guy. Why don't you stick with your good defenses and your bad offense and just stay over there in Oxford?
Yeah. Now, the Golden thing is so like crazy because I know it all happened this way, but it's like if you would have polled the world and even like us last year for the basketball season started to be like, hey, who's the next SEC coach to win a national championship? Like Todd Golden probably wouldn't even been in our top 10 as far as like the next one to do it. So I don't know. Maybe somebody comes out, but yeah, I think Golden or Nate Oates. But as much as I'm going to hold my nose saying it, but Nate Oates, I would do that. Is Stephen Pearl like 16th on the rankings of coaches? Obviously,
by default, I think he kind of has to be. He may very well. I mean, hell, maybe in December we might just be like, oh crap, this dude's like he's got it rolling. Who knows? But yeah, just by default, I'm not going to give him any benefit.
He's probably already better than McMahon and I don't know,
Paris.
Whoever else is getting. Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. So,
by the way, the more I think about it, how much is Chris Beard going to live to regret not taking the Arkansas job?
probably a lot.
Yeah,
I mean,
I would think
he's going to have success. He's going to have a lot of success in his career, no matter where he's at, because he's just a good coach. But like, his ceiling is substantially lower at Ole Miss, in my humble opinion.
Did he reach it this past season? Because they were pretty good, and I think they made the Sweet 16. And then I don't know. Looking at his roster this year, I'm sure they'll be good because he's a good coach, but it's not like they took a big step forward, in my opinion. So.
I feel like he's going to be stuck in that purgatory of like good team that can't quite beat the great teams.
Yeah, well, it's like when he was at Texas, and I know all that stuff that happened. But like that team that he had when he was fired, like that was a championship caliber team, like good enough to win it all. And I just don't think he's ever going to get close to that at Ole Miss as far as the talent. He has to have both to go along with it. Ethan says, super sad. I missed you, Curtis, and Andrew this weekend in Hot Springs. Hope to see y'all back soon. So
we'd love to be back there soon. Springs. Yeah. If they do a tip-off tour, we'll be back there again. So.
Yeah,
tough drive. Good time.
I know. Yeah, I know. I wish it actually used to be worse. Did you guys go down 71 or did you go the interstate?
I'm guessing we went down 71.
I think we went down 71.
Yeah, it's like the interstate. Now that they've kind of fixed it, it's a little bit better as far as just being on an interstate, but it may be quicker to go the other way. I don't know, but either way. All right, real quick before we get wrap up here, Trey says, did you guys see what OU coach said to reporters about this isn't the Big 12, it's the SEC? Then the Big 12 clapped back at him.
I missed
talking about Brent Venables?
Football or hoops or?
I say, would it be, what's his name? Porter Mosier? No, okay, I see it. It's Brent Venables says,
okay.
I'm playing tight games in the SEC. This isn't the old Big 12 days where Oklahoma destroys everybody every single week except one game of the year. And then, like Lane Kiffin, I guess, retweeted it, but I didn't see what the Big 12 said. But anyways,
I guess that's just
not wrong.
Yeah, that's just the kind of silver lining, like the unwritten, unsaid thing is that used to be at Oklahoma where they were in the Big 12 and they were playing Texas Tech every week.
Yeah. Oh, I guess it says the Big 12 conference tweet out said Coach Venables has lost 8 conference games in his 2 seasons in the Big 12.
Oh, nice.
So, like that's pretty good. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Hey, there's Coach Cal on the television.
How's he look?
Looks great. Yeah, he's rocking the white quarter zip. The boys are in Birmingham, so
is Tyson on it?
Didn't see him.
No, the logo Tyson.
Oh, I didn't see that. It was like the side profile, which he's still looking slim there because it was weird. It was like zoomed in on his belly, and then just kind of panned up to his face. But he has arrived.
Yeah, good deal. Good deal. Well, in that case, any final thoughts, guys, before we roll out of here and see what Cal has to say?
We'll have, if you're not able to watch it live, we'll have that posted on our YouTube channel whenever they upload it and we upload it. And then we'll talk about all that stuff on the Pod the Palace. Oh, by the way, Mike Neighbors is on the panel right now as I watch this. So, yeah, that's weird. Anyway, yeah, SEC Media Day coverage coming your way, and we'll see you tomorrow at Blue Ember.
I just had a flashback to trying to download that Cal presser last year in the media room, and it took an hour, and then we go upstairs. We have better Wi-Fi, so hopefully we'll get it up quicker this time. But, yeah, appreciate everybody for tuning in as always, and keep it rolling, man. It's middle of the week, and the coverage doesn't stop here at Inside Arkansas. It's going to be another great week. Woo pig.
And my final thought is just for Dylan says, John, you're probably 5'8", 210, right? I probably just a shade of over 5'11", maybe. And I am about 220. So if you're wanting to know. But either way, that's my final thought. But yes, appreciate each and every one of you listening and watching in Inside Arkansas Live. Be sure to subscribe to us here in Inside Arkansas on our YouTube page. Check out all of our audio podcasts, wherever podcasts are found, whether it's Inside Arkansas Live, Pod at the Palace, Bombastic Podcast, Inside Arkansas Recruiting, and Inside Arkansas Football. And follow us on social media at Inside Arkansas. And that'll do it for us today. For Andrew Ellis, Curtis Wilkerson, intern Cameron, I'm John Neighbors. Same sports show, same sports channel. Tomorrow at noon, live from Blue Ember Smokehouse in Rogers. Have a great rest of your day, everybody, and we'll see you then.